We're here. The boys are back, and we're doing another episode of Loud About Nothing. Okay, everyone chill. It is me. It is your boy, the hottest dude in the podcast game, that Victory Blvd, okay? Sebi Chianti himself, Sebastian Canelli, all right. Everyone, please calm down. He's here every freaking week, and oof. Is he looking good today? He's got his little tie-dye shirt on to show Gen Z that he's a cutie patootie, okay? He's my nephew, the cute boy himself, Robbie. Robbie, say what's up.
What's up, Sebastian? Yeah, I'm trying to appeal to Gen Z.
I know what you're doing, bro. You don't got to tell me.
That's what I'm doing.
I see right through you, bro, okay? We got fucking fire today, Robbie.
Fire, yeah.
We are Staten Island's massive podcast.
Yeah,
we are the Simps. We are the Simps. So we had to bring on fucking Staten Island's finest. Okay, bro? You know him. He is the supervising producer for fucking 14 decades. 14 decades so far on the Jokers, the Impractical Jokers. Okay? Give it up for Staten Island's own Casey Jost.
This is so funny. I can't believe we're allowed to have this many people from Staten Island on a podcast.
I know this is illegal. Who could ever think that we'll figure out how to do a computer? You know, no one thought that Staten Island people would ever get this far in life. It's beautiful.
Legit, like we're the cavemen of the boroughs.
Oh, but you know what's interesting? Your dad's a computer teacher.
That's true.
So this is.
But he's from Buffalo. He's originally from Buffalo, New York.
I wasn't gonna bring it up because I didn't want to bring shame on your family, Casey.
So did my dad teach you?
He did. You know what? I looked back before you were coming on because you've asked me this before, and he did teach me.
Wow. Because I know you went to tech, but did you graduate tech?
See, people have to ask me if I graduated high school. I give off that vibe, huh?
You do. Because you like the way that I think when I first met you, you were like, yeah, man, I was bad. I was like, I think I asked, like, did you know my dad? You were like, I don't know, man. I was bad back then. You had this like, you created your own bad boy image, but I guess it's true.
I did graduate. I did graduate. One of the only people from tech that didn't make National Honor Society. Everyone else had those stupid fucking white, you know, they have the white like things that go over the robe and the two yellow tassels. And then I'm walking across the stage and I got nothing. I just got a black robe on and I brought shame to my whole family.
No way. They were fine with it.
Yeah, they were, but I do remember I was embarrassed to take pictures with like my friends because I was like the only one who didn't make National Honor Society.
Wow. I mean, that's odd. Everyone else in the class, it almost makes it seem like you're special. You know what I mean? Like you're the star belly Sneetch.
You're right. Maybe I was thinking of it the wrong way. Mm-hmm. Everyone probably was like, wow, Sebastian's so cool. We all followed along and did the homework. Sebastian did what he wanted.
I was very much that too. I never did. I was a bad student, and I wasn't like destructive or anything, or I didn't break stuff, but I just didn't do the work. And I would, I was like a chatty Cathy.
Of course. And
Same.
you went to all boys school.
Monsignor Farrell High School, all boy Catholic high school.
Oh wow.
And yeah, treacherous.
Yes.
It was like a really fun prison.
Would you like pull pranks, or was it just that you were goofing off in the back having fun?
We'd pull like really minor pranks. They were pretty dumb. There would be stuff like we would purposely get caught for writing a note, and the note would say like, there's footprints on the ceiling, and when the teacher would look, the entire class would scream. like what is that, a prank? It was almost just like an absurdist demonstration.
Sure.
It was just like an art piece.
That's interesting because it is just like, I don't know, as a teacher how I would react to that. I would just be like, okay, I guess that you all did this to me. Okay, it's over.
She was startled and like would just like randomly throw certain kids out of class, even if they weren't the one who like orchestrated it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't pull pranks, but I would get in trouble a lot for like one time a kid paid me money to take shrooms and go to a math class. So like
Fun
I
prank,
think
fun prank.
yeah, I think that was a fun prank, I guess.
It sounds like it actually now sounds like a YouTube video. It
Oh
sounds like
yeah.
something a kid would like, something like Jake Paul would make a YouTube video about.
Yeah.
Yes. But except he wanted everyone to know, and I literally wanted no one to know what was happening to me. You know, I
Mhm.
just sat there silently, hoping no one would look at me.
Our generation did have like this like sort of griminess that I think kids don't have now. And I think actually the generation before us was worse. But I remember there
Mhm.
was a kid at Farrell who had a duffel bag that he was, you know, like everyone used backpacks. And one day he had a duffel bag and I was like, what's in your duffel bag? And he was like, beers. He was drinking beers all day.
Yeah.
He'd be like, he'd be like, can I go to the bathroom? And the teacher would be like, yeah. And he'd take his duffel bag to the bathroom and drink a beer and then come back. How funny. Like, that's crazy.
It's also very shady that he just had a duffel bag and would bring it to the bathroom and come back fucking tipsy. That's fun. We used to do Gatorade bottles full of like vodka and stuff in school.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess I think that people do that. I know that kids now do like jewels under their shirts.
Right.
So like I guess
it's a very funny image. Like, especially like at Farrell, we'd have these like sweaters and it would probably just go through all the fibers, right? It's very funny.
Yes, especially I can't imagine those Catholic uniforms were made of like good material.
Oh no. It was pretty cheap.
You know, my grandparents lived next to Farrell. Did you know my grandparents lived next to Farrell? Have I told you this?
I don't think you have. Were they on Tyson's?
They were in those pink houses.
Oh yes, I know those pink houses.
Yes, my grandma and grandpa lived in those pink houses. This is really inside baseball over here.
I mean, what do you expect from the only podcast with 3 Staten Islanders?
I wasn't.
Robbie, where did you?
Where
are you
my
from?
parents and my grandparents are from Staten Island. I actually grew up across the outer bridge in Sayreville, but I would spend like
Sayreville,
every Sunday
by Hunka
on Staten
Bunka?
Island. Yeah. But
So on the radio, they would always be like, Hunka Bunka in Sayreville.
Yeah.
That's
Which
how I knew
became
Sayreville.
Starland Ballroom, which I think is
Right.
still now Starland. But
Been there many times.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's where I went to my first concert.
Which was?
Sammy Adams. It's like a rapper from Boston who had like
Oh my
2
God.
years of fame. I was like a senior in high school. Yeah, it was strange.
That's
but
funny. Sammy Adams.
my dad went
I
to
saw-
Tottenville High School
Okay.
in
Wow.
that area. My cousins live like right over the outer bridge.
Who'd you
Yep.
see there?
I saw A Tribe Called Quest and
Yes.
Rhymefest opened. Rhymefest opened.
Wow.
And I think since it was like, I think Busta Rhymes like showed up too.
Oh,
It
that's
was a
pretty cool.
It was a pretty crazy concert. And was, you know, it was like before it was, I mean, it was probably over 12 years ago or something. It was great.
And it's a small venue, so that's like a nice place to see them.
Yeah.
I
Really
saw
great.
Wu-Tang there a bunch of times.
Whoa.
Yeah, which was
That's
cool.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Same reason.
Yeah, same. We were like right in front too, so
Mhm.
it was awesome. And I didn't realize how big Ghostface was till I saw him in person, and he
Yeah.
is huge.
He's
And
tall.
his security guards are smaller than him. It's like, who's protecting who?
It's funny because from show to show, Wu-Tang concerts can be really bad. Like, it depends on who shows up, what the mood
Yes.
they're in. Like
Mhm.
they seem like very moody guys, and also like what layout RZA is orchestrating, because there's some where everyone's just on stage the whole time, but then like guys are just sitting down. And then the last time I saw them, the guys would kind of come in and out, which was kind of nice. Like, you don't. It's better than you think.
They need their moments. I don't think they like being part of an ensemble anymore.
Yeah.
The best one I saw was Ghostface and Raekwon did like a set, and then
Right.
it was Blackout 2 came out, which was Method and Red. So they
Incredible.
came out and they did a set, which was an incredible concert because they each felt like superstars.
Yeah. It feels like an award show.
Yes.
It
Yes.
feels like the Source Awards.
100%. But then I've also seen them as a group, which was horrible because they had ODB's son rapping
Yes,
most
I
of
saw
the
that
songs.
too.
You've
I
seen
saw that.
ODB's son.
Of course I've seen it. I think I saw 2 different concerts, and one, ODB's son was like really going crazy. And another one, you could tell they were all like, all right, hang back. Like he very much stopped doing what he was doing. and I love them for it. There was another one I saw once. There was the bad time I saw them, where it was at Webster Hall, which is crazy small venue to see Wu-Tang, and it was great.
Yes.
And Method Man was like literally just the star of the show. It was, I mean, it's always like that, but it was heightened because I think everyone else was like feeling real lazy and just like sitting down, and Method Man was like giving the crowd everything. So it felt like just like a solo meth show, which was great. Yeah. Literally every white guy in attendance, which was the entire place, loved it. We all loved it.
That's what people don't. A lot of Wu-Tang audience is predominantly like a white audience.
It's just us from Staten Island, bro. It's just us.
The other day, Sebastian goes, I got to get on this Wu-Tang show. And I'm like, exactly. Who do you think you're going to be playing on this Wu-Tang show? He's like, I don't care. I'll just be somebody at a store. He's like, I need to get a role on this show. And I'm like,
You'll only be like a really bad cop. You'll only
that's
like
exactly what he said.
Crooked, a really crooked cop, like a cop like so bad the other cops are like, oh my god,
yes,
like, oh Jesus.
So then I realized maybe I don't want to be on the show. You know, I don't think I want that to be my role in the Wu-Tang universe. I'll
take it. I'll do it.
You would?
I will take that role from you then.
Interesting. Do you love where we're from or hate it?
You know, there's elements of it. You know, it's funny because it's a small town, and I really do feel like the people who stay there kind of become townies. And it doesn't matter where you're from. If you stay where you kind of grew up, and it's as like incestuous, or what's the word for it? Like it's as like it's just such a small town that you become this like townie, and you get blindsided. I think you need to leave, and even if you go back, it's okay. Yeah. I just think you need some perspective. And I think the more people just stay there. So I do dislike that element. I also hate like a lot of the traffic, like that kind of stuff. But
classic. They've been doing construction on the expressway forever.
It's always pretty bad. And there's just, they build a new house every second of every day. So it's really congested. But I lived in Stapleton after college, and I just met some of still to this day, like some of the greatest artists I've ever met in my life. Like, you know, photographers and painters and musicians. Like there's this element of people who, and some of them were a lot of them were from Staten Island, but a lot of people were kind of transplants that couldn't afford any other part of the city. So they lived there. And those are the, you know, sometimes the best artists, you know?
And I guess we're from like different parts of Staten Island, and so I'm from the South Shore, which is much more cop Italian, like red states ish, you know. So I think that's probably why I hate it a lot more, because I think it's a lot more of people being Italian machismos, you know, like running around flexing, like how everyone's on creatine but nobody works out sort of situation happening down here. So I think that's why I don't like it. I never experienced like that, like a fun artistic side of Staten Island.
I had a lot. It's funny though, because I had a lot of friends that lived in Eltingville and Huguenot, and
that's where
like South Shore. But they also.
Do you hear the way Casey said it with disdain and
Eltingville,
Huguenot? Even Casey had to put on an accent to say where I'm from.
But no. Well, my point is, like, some of them are some of my favorite musicians. Like the two people that I'm thinking of from, you know, New Springville and like, you know, all those areas, like they got out though. That's the thing. It's like it's that thing. Like you have to kind of leave and understand, you know, your potential or something, or just it's perspective. That's all it is. It's the same thing happens to, you know, towns in the South or towns in the Midwest. You have to get out. Otherwise you get sucked in.
I met my buddy at the gas station recently. You know, it's good. He would hang out at the gas station a lot. And this is my friend who he has the tattoo of on his neck of the Statue of Liberty, but with big tits. So this is the sort of kid that we're talking about here. And he has over his eyebrow, he has a face tattoo. Before it was cool, before like before Post Malone, before any of that, he had a face tattoo and it said "No regrets" right over his eyebrow.
That's great.
Right. And so I saw him and he looked at me and he goes, "You got out." And that's all he said. And then he asked if I could give him a ride. I said, sure. And then all of a sudden I was sitting outside some dude's house for a half hour while he was inside his house because you never want to give a kid a ride on Staten Island because you know he's asking you to make 15 stops and it's always going to take 3 hours minimum.
Vinny Guadagnino said the same thing to me. You know, Jersey Shore Vinny. Like he was like,
course.
he's just like, you know, he's like, oh man, you live in Williamsburg, you got out. It's like this thing of like, even him,
he could get out. I would imagine.
He's doing,
but he can't.
He's like the shark on Dancing with the Stars or something, or the Masked Dancer. He's doing okay. But I think recently he moved to LA, and so I should actually call him. I should FaceTime him and be like, you got out.
Yeah. There is this attitude of like it sucks you in. Like there's a culture that like it's Italian mothers. And that family lifestyle, like you think you're better than me, you're gonna leave. There's definitely a lot of that here. Like no one wants anyone to better themselves where I'm from.
And it sounds like on paper, it sounds like, oh, come on, just don't listen. But there's true judgment and there's true guilt and shaming. If you know, I know people who have gone through that and like they have to buy a house in like the neighborhood and they have to like, you know, do this or get a city job. Like, I mean, my family has given me a lot of guilt for doing this career and not becoming a firefighter. Like my grandfather was a firefighter. All of the rest of the people in my family, like my mom's like cousins and stuff, like everybody is a firefighter. Like 3 seasons into Jokers, they did like the hiring freeze for the fire department was over. And my mom was like, you're going to take the test. I took the test.
You took the test?
She made me.
What do you mean? You're successful at this point. You have a job.
My grandfather still will send me the Chief, you know, that magazine, and be like, yeah, they're looking for people to paint the bridge. Paint the Verrazano Bridge. Lisa always makes fun of it. Like Lisa's always like, they're looking for ditch diggers. You know, it's a good. They got city benefits.
Hey, in 25 years, you'll be collecting a pension. You could do whatever you want. That's what I always heard. In 25 years, you could do whatever you want.
Yeah, you guys are the only people who understand that this is like my family still will say it. So they had me take the test. I took the written and the physical fire department test.
I can't believe you took the test. Did you tell people at Jokers you were taking the test?
Q, one of the guys, was a firefighter who quit his job to do the show, but he did 2 seasons as a firefighter.
Oh my God, wow. He didn't even quit. He had a TV show and was a firefighter stuff.
Couldn't leave.
He deferred for like 2 years, which is unheard of. You're not even allowed to do it more than one. And they were like, we're going to let you do it another one because, you know, the benefits. In fact, I'll tell you this much. In fact, I was working for the Parks Department. I got a nice cushy city, you know, it's like not cushy, but like a nice job, like working for the Parks Department. I could have gotten to that system. And then I had to, I got hired at Jimmy Fallon. I worked there I got fired from Fallon in 6 months, but I got hired. And they were like, I was like, I had to go to the, you know, Cromwell Center, which was literally sunk into the water. It's just so funny.
Oh my God.
And they knew it was sinking as they were like, I was working there. And I was like, oh, I have to quit. And they were like, oh, what happened? Everything okay? And I was like, yeah, I got a job on NBC, like working for the show with Jimmy Fallon. And they're like, great. They're like, so when do you think you're gonna come back? Yeah. You know? they were like, okay, like we'll hold the position for a few months just in case. Like they're so nice. They're like, wow. You don't want to lose the benefits. You sure you can't do both? You know?
This is wild.
This is Staten Island is.
It is. There's no room for dreams. There's no room for dreams.
Anytime, not that I feel guilt, but anytime that things might be going in my life, my grandmother's apartment in her house on Staten Island becomes available to me. My parents would be like, you could always move in with grandma on Staten Island. That would be nice.
They would love that. That's what's so funny. There's no, like in other places, there's like this, there's guilt or there's like embarrassment associated with that. And in Staten Island, they're like, move back home.
Yeah.
To this day, my parents are still like after like a Thanksgiving or something, they're like, why don't you sleep over?
Yeah.
It's like, Lisa's like, we're 36.
Yeah. I know. My mother's dream is that I live with a woman downstairs. That's my mother's dream, is that we share a home, and that's where they're upstairs and I have a woman downstairs with a family. Because that's what they did.
Yeah.
My grandmother lived in the house.
Yeah.
That's my mom bought the house next door to where my grandparents currently live.
Of course. Of
So
course.
like I grew up with my grandparents as like babysitters, as like I had 4 parents and I spent equal amount of time with them. And it's like that's exactly that's I mean it was great. I mean, I'm not complaining. It was
Yeah,
an
no, not
incredible
at all.
life.
The food is
No, it's a
good. It's
good.
nice. You
But
I
have
live
like
next
hang
door
out
to-
with people all the time.
Yes, my parents bought the house next door to my cousin because it's the same deal. Just so because family was around, and I think actually for them that's downsizing. Because in Brooklyn, where my family's from, it was like all of them on one block.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You're right. Good point.
It was
Because
it's
it's
like
true. Yeah. It was like you know, and even in my block, as I have cousins and stuff, like the firefighter cousins, they're across the street and down the block. Like they're everybody's on our block. Like my mom's last name is Kelly. So my grandfather's name is William Kelly. My mom's Dr. Carrie Kelly. And like down the block is Kelly's. Like the whole neighborhood is all these like Kellys.
Yeah, it is interesting. And my family, the generation older than my parents, was so incestual, bro. It was a brother and a sister married a brother and a sister. So everyone was cousins
Funny.
4
Well,
times.
that's allowed though. That's not
Yeah, yeah.
incest, but
No, but
I
it was
understand.
just it was just like 2 families. It's like, okay, let's line up and pair off. And that's basically what
Yeah.
happened. And then there wasn't enough brothers. So then 2 women just never got married in my dad's family because there was no
And they're
more
like,
brothers.
And they're like, I just have to deal with this.
They lived together, and those two women just lived together till they both died.
This is a side thing, Sebastian, but I've always thought about like if twin sisters identical and twin brothers identical get married and they have kids, those kids should be twins, right?
Wow.
Those kids should look
very, very
look
yeah.
In fact, I think I have looked this up. Maybe Robbie, check it out. But I think that they are technically brothers, even though they are cousins or siblings. I think they're technically either brothers or sister, whatever it is, siblings rather than cousins.
Because identical
genetics.
Yes, identical means same or a sperm and egg. So that means that everything is exactly the same.
This is Staten Island science, bro. Staten
Staten
science, bro.
Island science.
This is Staten Island science happening.
Bro,
right
how
now.
sick would it be if fucking 2 twins got together, bro?
Exactly.
But
And
they're
then-
from Huguenot, and I'm from St. George.
Hey, that's a trip, okay? That's a trip. Who's paying gas, okay?
It's worth it.
I'll go to Costco. My dad still tells me, he goes, I'll be leaving. I would be leaving, driving back to Brooklyn. He goes, hey, come on, let's go to Costco. I'll fill your tank up.
Oh.
My parents are obsessed with getting gas at Costco. I don't know about yours.
My dad now goes to the Bayonne Costco. He's like
Oh,
so proud
he
of
goes
it.
over but they sell liquor there, right?
I mean, no, not for my dad doesn't. I mean, he doesn't drink at all. It's like
Oh, okay.
once
I
in a
don't-
while
Yes,
a beer.
but
No, but he probably would for the deal.
yes,
But
100%.
Anytime he goes, I just get I know when he goes because I'll get 15 picture texts of items at Costco and just be like, you want? And he'll just send me photos of dog food for our dog or dried mango and things. And like, I would say one of the 15 things, I'm like, okay, like I can't fit in my apartment the stuff
No.
that he wants to get.
But they want to give.
Yes.
They want
There's
to give. Them
there's a
giving
special.
is better than you getting. There's a special. What's the special?
It's called Twins Marry Twins, and they dive into this topic. I guess technically the DNA would be very similar. They don't have a word for it, but
I got it.
TLC special Twins Marry Twins.
I got it. They have to both be identical. Otherwise, I'm out. I'm not watching
Yeah.
TLC.
No,
No.
it's identical.
And they both have to be hot.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
4
They
smoke
probably are.
shows.
I remember a kid at like in high school or college, like in Staten Island, being like, yo, imagine like doing it with 2 sisters. And I was like, no, that would be I'd feel so bad. That would be so like you're ruining their lives. Like that's so uncomfortable. Like I remember like putting my mind into the mindset of who they are, like and why they're doing it. And I was like, oh no, like
Wasn't that a plot point in Austin Powers?
definitely probably.
Twins,
I think.
Basil.
I think.
That's what he says.
Yeah. Looking
written
back,
by-
I
definitely
think I agree with you though, Casey. It's not. That would be. I think like 5 minutes in when you would start thinking about they grew up to like this
Oh,
got a
yeah.
little. This was
I
starting
think
to get weird.
there's definitely plenty of people who will not think about it and have no problem not.
Definitely not.
but
Yeah.
I'm
I'd have
my
a problem
mindset-
with this too. I would hate this. There's no way I would be able to. I I hook up with so many people. I would be like, no, thank you. We're moving on. You're disgusting. Okay.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I say no, thank you a lot. No, thank you.
Another Staten Island thing is,
Uh-huh.
did you ever buy weed at a gas station?
100%.
Yeah, there was a
100%.
The Hess station on Bay Street was like, the guy would just
I
sell
know
you
it.
weed, and it was the worst weed. But it was like sometimes it would be like the only thing you could get. It was the driest, smallest amount. It was so clearly not a dime bag.
Uh-huh.
We'd be like, this isn't a dime. He'd be like, oh yeah, it's a nickel. And we'd be like, you didn't say that. And then like, also it's like at that time, no one was selling nickels.
Yeah,
That's,
I've never heard of
a $5 bag. And he'd be like, oh yeah, no, because it's a nickel. And we'd be like, because we just caught him from like trying to jib us.
Yeah.
And it's also, you're scamming off from already a dime bag. It's so bad. And then we would smoke it and be like, this is definitely sprayed with roach spray.
Yes, I smoked weed that was like laced in Staten Island.
Oh, almost every time. Almost every time. I definitely one time smoked a blunt that had cocaine in it and no one told me.
Of
That
course.
happened on Staten Island. I remember sometimes I got to like not do it before.
Uh-huh.
They'd be like, someone would be like, oh, this has coke in it. Like people would be like, it's like a prank on Staten Island. They'd be like,
Yes.
you got woo banged.
The woo banger, a woo banger. No one else knows that. Smoking woo bangers.
You got woo banged. That's the Wu-Tang prank show. It's just you're surprising
Yeah.
cocaine on people.
My friends tricked us and we smoked one with an embalming fluid. This was a JK. This was a JK.
No.
This is what real impractical jokers are in Staten Island. It was just dipped in embalming fluid. And I went to my grandma's house and sleep over my grandma's house, tripping balls.
That's scary.
Yes, this was also, I also was hanging out with kids with the Statue of Liberty with the titties, right? So there was problems happening.
Banging twins left and right.
Yeah. Oh, no, thank you, Casey. Okay. I knew a guy by the mall that would sell, he wouldn't only sell nickel bags, he would sell tray bags. I never even heard of it. They were
tray.
$3. You
$3
could pay
bag.
Oh, tray.
$3. We would pay,
Tray.
me and my boy would each throw in $1.50. We would smoke tray bags.
Wow. I had a friend that there was a special that you got 2 bags for 30, two
Mhm.
20s for 30. So
It's a good deal.
That is a
And
good deal.
So it was my 2 friends, my friend Danny and my friend Mike would buy 2 bags for 30, and Danny would always pay 10, and he'd be like, well, one of us has to, and they'd both take a bag. And
Yeah.
but my friend Danny would be like, well, this time I got the $10 bag and you got the $20 bag. Instead of being like, and Mike would be like, what do you mean? Like, we should both pay 15. He was like, no. Next time you could get the 10 and I'll get the 20, but every time he'd always be like, no, I get the 10. I got dibs on 10.
Yeah, that's good math. That's some good, solid Staten Island Technical High School math, Wow.
Funny.
Wow. So I have to say, we've been trying to get this podcast in the Staten Island Advance. I don't care about getting written up anywhere else besides the Advance. I DM them probably once a week and they don't respond.
Who do you want to talk to? I have an in.
Do you actually?
I have so many ins. So for a while I've been doing this like Staten Island news thing, and
I know. I think it's so fun.
Hysterical.
Everybody go check it out on Casey's Instagram.
And apparently they love it. Like there's several people who like have like been like, oh, like we watch it and stuff. And I'm sure some people probably hate it, but
Sure.
there's a couple of people. There's actually a guy named Shane DeMeo, and he hosts a bunch of like on camera stuff.
Yeah.
And he's kind of the real Staten Island news, but he's good. I think he's a great host. He hosts, like, he's done a bunch of things where he goes to like a cannoli shop where he used to work and talk to the guy. And I'm like, I'm also a fan of like Guy Fieri because I just think he's a great host. And, like he talks to people, he like breaks down barriers. Like he just like
he's good.
He
I'm on board
shouts
with
out.
that.
He shouts out local businesses all over America. Like
Yeah.
He's awesome.
That's great. The fact
Why
that
are people shitting on him so much? Because he's got weird hair?
easy target.
But he's doing more good than Elon Musk.
100%. He went to the California wildfires and he's like feeding people and like, housing people. The guy's a saint.
This is amazing.
Every single episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, he's shouting out 3 local businesses, and he's had like 500 episodes. It's like,
Yes.
He's doing God's work. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, so this guy Shane is great too. He's just like charismatic and nice and stuff. And so I might be doing one of his shows, and he works for the event. So I'll set you guys up, bro. I'll connect.
Set me up. You know why? Because I'm dying. I don't care about any other publication. I just want my friend's mother to be like, I saw Sebastian in the advance
know.
this week.
I
That's
know what
all
you
I
mean.
want. That's all I want.
It's so funny because it's so not what I want. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
anytime.
Of course.
My mom is a doctor, and so like there's always like nurses are like, I saw on Casey's Instagram that he posted this photo, and like my mom's not on any social media,
Uh-huh.
so it's like never anything bad, but I don't like the communication line goes like that.
Yes. Oh my God. It's so the gossip mill is real.
Yeah.
It's that small town thing that you're talking about. I remember when I dropped out of engineering school, everyone found out. Everyone. And then I remember my cousin's friends, women I never even met. I think you're making a mistake. I think you're making a mistake in delis that I didn't even know this woman.
It's and it's also what they will remember about you forever.
Yes, no matter what.
No matter what I do, that is the only thing that they will remember.
It's crazy how there's things that, you know, I did 15 years ago or whatever, like that people are like, and how's this thing that you probably haven't thought about since the last time I saw you. And you're like, why are you remembering this weird specific thing?
Wow. Yeah.
There's a group of people that will just remember you as the guy who quit the parks department.
Oh, 100%. Oh yeah. I mean, in fact, I think I talked to one of them recently, and they were like, hey, look, by the way, you ever need a job, let me know.
We're still
I'll move some things around. You might have to start over at scratch, but like, you know, we'll make it work.
That's not, they must really, I feel like people would have the opposite mentality on Staten Island to be like, oh, you thought you were better than me? Fuck it. That's nice. You must
they
get along with people well.
They'll say that behind your back, but they'll also be like, look, I do want to help you out.
Because they like the feeling that they helped you. Right. That's what it's about. It's not helping you. It's that they helped you. You know, it helps their ego.
You know, that's the Staten Island thing of being like, he thinks who he is.
He thinks who he is. Yeah.
Which is funny because
says that
it's
all
like,
the time.
It's like, it's acknowledging like maybe a person is doing well, but then they're not allowed to like think they're doing well.
No.
It's such a hold yourself. Like everyone should hold themselves back. It's the opposite of like what this like current generation is like love yourself, you know, like body positivity.
No, I remember I would be doing homework, and my mom, I would not fuck up and like not want to be doing my homework, and my mom would go, if you don't do your homework, you're gonna end up being a garbage man. And I go, Uncle Rocky's a garbage man. And then she would instantly go, it's a very good job.
Like 25 years, you get a pension.
What is happening? Is this a threat or is it a good thing? Like there was no right answer for this.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he was a funny man.
Great.
He was a funny. He once found a gun in the garbage and he kept it.
For sure.
He just kept the gun that he found in the garbage. He was that type of guy.
Garbage gun? Yeah, you gotta keep it.
You keep the garbage gun. You don't want to get anyone in trouble. He didn't want to get anyone in trouble, so he kept the garbage gun.
That's an entire episode of Law and Order. Like you just described an entire episode. You know,
he was trying to be nice.
He's not in trouble. We just need to find out where the gun came from.
Yes. Well, I think that it doesn't matter now. He probably got rid of the gun. He's safe. He's dead. He's dead. He's safe.
His gun's gone.
Also, pretty crazy mindset to be like, he's safe. He's dead. He's safe.
100%. When you die, you're finally safe from the world. You know?
Oh my God, what an outlook.
Wow. Hey, I've been home. I've been home for way too long.
I still love it though. Like when I like, you know, like we're talking about it, like I have a fondness for part of the lifestyle. Like, you know, in Brooklyn, like, you know, I walk everywhere and it's great. And then whenever I visit my parents, you have to like drive places, and it is nice, especially in the cold weather. You just jump into like a car. Not the way it should be, but it's cool.
Did you go to Stadium 16 to the movie theaters?
Yes.
Or
once it opened, but Atrium was because I grew up on the North Shore, like we said, but like our family would go to the Great Kill Swim Club every summer. And so I had so many friends that lived in Great Kills. So we would go to the Atrium, which was not as good, but I didn't know the difference between the movie theaters. And so I just liked the Atrium for what it was.
Sure, the atrium was not this, but the cool kids hung out behind the atrium.
Oh yeah.
Were you one of those kids smoking weed behind the atrium ever?
Well, one of my friends worked at the atrium, and he would
Interesting.
always slip me the big cutouts, and we would take a cutout like the Legally Blonde 2 sign that would just be like a giant 2, and we would leave it on one of our other friends like houses, like in front of their house, like we would facing the door. So when they wake up in the morning, there would just be a big 2, prank of the year, and then we'd make them smoke embalming fluid. But we would do that. But then so in the process of getting those things and like taping them to the top of our car, we'd also have run-ins with the kids that would hang out behind the atrium. But it seemed like we were doing something shady, so they were like, oh cool.
I love that.
I slipped. I don't know how I slipped through the cracks. I shouldn't have. Like looking at photos of me, Sebastian, you'd be like, how did this guy make it out alive? But
what do you mean, like kids should?
I was just like a little dork. I was a little dork. I wasn't cool. I mean, I didn't look cool. At least I didn't dress cool. I didn't,
You weren't about like fat. You would never like went into like I had to wear Tim's and a North Face. That was never you.
Even no, never. I was never really Tim's and North Face. If I wanted to be, we weren't like we weren't really like crazy rich and enough to like I'd afford it. Like my parents were always like really like we should save money and like
I disagree here because I don't think that actually rich kids were the people that had those clothes.
No, yeah. I mean, a lot of
those people that prioritized those parents.
The kids that, you're right to a certain degree, but the kids that I grew up with were like a lot of them were really wealthy and like had like cool cars and the coolest stuff. And so my family was a little bit like more like my mom was a doctor, but she also had 3 siblings that also went to college. And my grandfather, like I said, was a firefighter. Okay. So like all the money went into tuition. So my parents were also like, oh, we have to save money for tuition and stuff. So everybody was like kind of getting off the ground. But I also like understood that. And like my dad like drilled that into us to save money. So it was very much like, oh, I'll just get the knockoff everything. So I had like the 4-stripe Adidas and I had
I feel bad for you retroactively, bro. What else did you you had a South Pole jacket?
100%. Oh no, I had, we hit the outlets, and I had the Nautica, but like an outlet Nautica that was like fake Nautica.
What outlets did you go to? We're talking Woodbury Commons.
Oh yeah, big time.
You drove up you took the trip north to get once before the school year started, and then once right before Christmas we would do it.
You just nailed it, and it would always, it would be tough because like I remember kids having Jenkos. And then I was like, I gotta get Jenkos. As soon as I got Jenkos, I got one pair of Jenkos. Everybody was off Jenkos. They were like, those are rockers, bro. Rockers wear Jenking. So like, I had finally like, got my mom to like allow me to get the Jenkos, and they were like, she wouldn't let me get the jean Jenkos. So she let me get the khaki Jenkos that were already not cool.
Oh no.
And so then I finally get the khaki Jenkos and I like wear them once, and everyone's like, are you wearing A, Jenkos, and B, khaki Jenkos? They're not cool. You need to be wearing Rockefeller jeans.
Yes.
And those are expensive.
I haven't thought about Rockefeller from Against All Odds.
Oh yeah, Against All Odds. Yeah, I mean, there's a few places in the mall that were like Echo store.
Of course, I was a big Echo. I remember one year for high school, I came back with a Rhino sweatshirt, an Iron Man Echo shirts, the Carpenter Echo jeans, and Echo sneakers. I was like, literally, you could have called me Mark because I was fucking Echo.
Mark Echo. You definitely went over a lot of people's heads.
I don't care. The 2 people
I had so much Echo on, you could have called me Mark. Everyone was like, what?
I don't care. It's sometimes I just say shit for me because I was the Echo shit. I was a fucking fiend for Echo. I would go to Jersey Gardens when that shit opened because they had the outlet there too.
How much Anichi did you have?
Oh, you know what? Not as much, but I used to call it NYC.
Yeah.
This is the big debate. Is it Anichi?
This is such a good.
This is why he came on. Is it NYC or Anichi?
It was
right?
All right. So for people, it was spelled ENYCE. But it is supposed to be NYC, but a lot of people called it Anichi to make it like an Italian brand or something.
Yes. I had some of that. The one brand that I love, Sean John. I was all about Sean John. I had the velour sweatsuits. Did you do velour
Nice.
sweatsuits?
Never a velour sweatsuit. Never, like, I wasn't allowed it, and like it just wasn't even at that time. I just didn't like it. Like I knew I wouldn't look good in it.
This is not good for you. This is
I just
not good for
re-upped
you.
You know-
in 20. I think it's very practical in the pandemic, just because
I agree.
you're wearing
I think it
sweats
works.
all
The
the
feel
time.
of the
Yeah,
feel of
yeah.
suit too.
Yeah. I just bought 2.
You definitely, both of you definitely had. Remember, like the like the soccer style like jumpsuit with like there was like
yeah,
a
100%.
woman on it.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
yeah. Kappa, I think
what
it's
was that?
called.
Yes.
Kappa.
Yes. KAPPA.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%. Wow. Yeah. I was all. You know, that's why going to all boys Catholic school, it was like different because you had a uniform.
Which saved my life, because you know what I mean. Like I didn't actually. That's probably what had helped me so much, but also hurt me too, because I had no idea what people are wearing. And I remember like one time I went out, like this is like 7th or 8th grade, and I went out with like a bunch of kids, and literally I got out of the car, and my friend Chris was like, "What are you doing?" Like immediately was like, roll, like I had khakis on. He was like, roll your khakis down. Like, why are your khakis rolled up? You know what I mean? He just like attacked me, and like, he like literally like gave me like a French tuck. He like pulled my,
Tuck.
he was just like, Jesus, like he saved my life. And we were like hanging out. I remember we were like, this is so funny. He was like, all right, these girls want to hang out. Probably like that, you know what I mean? Like finally you'll get deep-rooted.
Deep-rooted.
Casey, our goal this summer is to get you deep-rooted.
Yeah. We're gonna be so you could get that white line under your tongue. Everyone would always be bragging once you made out with the girl. Once you got deep-rooted, you would get the fucking white line under your tongue.
Yo, I haven't thought about that in so long. That was a thing.
I still look underneath my tongue and go, I don't have the white line yet. I go, when am I fucking getting this white line, bro?
Oh my God, you just blew. This is literally This is the conversation that like happened outside of nowhere. It was the movie theater in Newdorp.
Oh yes, right by
Highland Plaza.
Highland Plaza by the Chinese buffet over there.
Dude, by the Toys R Us.
Yeah, I went on a date over there too. One of the first girls I ever kissed too. Hell yes.
Wait, let me tell you though, because we go, and my buddy Chris goes, bro, like I got, like we're gonna go see this boring ass movie, and so that we could just make out the whole time, or go with the girl,
Good
so
friend.
you can go with her, right?
Yeah.
We go in, it's Saving Private Ryan.
No.
Everybody's like, yo, this movie sucks. Like, we gotta leave. Like, everyone's like, you know what I mean? There's like adults like watching it, like crying and shit. And we're like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, I can't get hard. You know, it's like,
bro, can these fucking people stop with all this war shit? I'm trying to fucking get over the shirt action over here.
it's like, wow, it's loud, bro.
Wow. And that was one of those movies at Staten Island. All the World War II vets wore their hats that they got made at the fucking kiosk. Everyone had a hat with fucking
straight brim with the gold and the like the medallions.
They all wore it to go see Saving Private Ryan, and you were trying to hook up during it.
100%. Either that or like so many people wore just like not cops would wear hats that just said NYPD on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a
huge
thing like older men had.
Yep.
Especially post 9/11. They were like
Yes.
probably the most popular brand in New York.
NYPD.
NYPD was big. I haven't thought about the French tuck. Yeah, I think about it. I see it on Queer Eye. They talk
Yes.
about the French tuck. I was doing that shit in junior high.
Yeah.
I was doing that shit with a diesel shirt and my cuffed up pants to turn them into capris.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about a French tuck in forever. You still use hair products though, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Like that's the one thing that's interesting is like meeting people in college that like never used hair product, never even understood it. And then being like, no, I know hair product. And like even later in life where people are like figuring it out for the first time, I'm like, oh, I've been on hair product.
Yeah.
Gel, Dep.
Yeah, we talked about that. What number you use? You do 10. You do the super holds.
It was whatever my mom used.
Uh-huh.
Because it was like she like it was everything was family. Like whatever
Sure.
whatever mom uses, like you get to use. But I was able to get, what was the yellow container? It was hair glue. Got to be glued.
Got to be.
Oh
I found
yes, got to be. That's still popular now.
It's still around. Yeah, got
Yes.
to be glued. That was
That's
like,
high end.
and so, but here's the problem was like, I had an identity. Yep, that's it.
Yes, this is
I
it.
had
100%.
an identity crisis because I was very much like the big Staten Island thing. I was like, bro, you a rapper or are you a rocker?
100%.
And I was very much in between. And even so, like I wasn't even like a Korn Limp Bizkit rocker. I just liked other music that was like, I like the Strokes when they came out, and I liked like the White Stripes, but that was still kind of
Illegal.
rocker.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
Interesting.
it was, and I like wanted to play in bands, but but I was a rocker, but then like Blink-182 was like big, and but that was acceptable for some reason. It was like weird, like what would be allowed.
I think it was the cover of that album that made it acceptable, if I'm being honest. I think
it was juvenile.
Yes, it was, and it said fuck a lot. It had the explicit in the corner, so I think that gave it a little cred.
Yeah.
I remember I had to tell my sister, I had to pull her to the side, and I said, "You going to Hot Topic is embarrassing the family."
Family, meaning you.
I had to tell, yes, meaning me, because we would go to the mall, and me and my friends would stand outside of Hot Topic, and we would bully the kids leaving Hot Topic.
I know you then.
Yes.
You bullied me. That was me. 100%. I remember kids being like, bro, like that's like devil shit. Like that's,
Yes.
you can't go in there. It's like, you know what I mean? Like you're going to go to hell. You know what I mean? Like imagine bullying people and being like, you're going to go to hell.
100%. And they were like tough about it. And they would just stand with their crosses, and then you go get an Auntie Anne's right there, because it was on the same level, right down the passageway.
Oh, bling is a good thing to talk about too. Like what jewelry you had. Definitely like those, what are the dots called? Like
Oh, are you talking about the thick ball necklaces?
the ball necklaces. Yeah.
Yes, I
Maybe
had
a
one of
little-
those when
yeah.
I was
But
younger.
you probably had the Cuban links.
I had the Cuban links, and then I also had the one long one, and then the two short ones, one long, two short chains.
Yes.
I had that with the cross, and I had a matching. I used to wear watches too.
So interesting. So I also would wear, because I grew up like going to that Great Coast Swim Club, and there was a lot of kids that were in college that had all gotten into like Dave Matthews Band and like Guster and like
Ooh.
those bands. So I
Uh-huh.
liked a lot of that from their influence, and that was also rocker, like as if
Yes.
I'm like, but like so it would be like those hookah necklaces. What are they called?
With the
puka
shells.
The shell. Puka-
Yeah,
puka
I had
sh-
one of
puka
those
shell?
once. Yeah, puka shell.
Yeah.
was
So
it?
and also
Yeah.
just like one that was like a strip of leather with like a shell, or like just one shell, and like that stuff, like lifeguard stuff. And so that was also like a thing that I was into.
I remember there was like
kids,
a knot bracelet. Did you have that? It was just like a white knot bracelet. Yeah.
Well, those were like for kids
Had a
that wore
summer phase.
Hollister.
Yeah, I had a Hollister
yes,
face.
yes.
If you wore Hollister, you could do that. But the kids that wore Hollister were track kids. Like those were kids that ran track in my world.
Interesting.
Yeah, though that was more of the preppy was the track kids. And
So yeah, I wanted to be preppy, but I was not attractive enough to be preppy. So it was very interesting, and I couldn't afford Abercrombie and Fitch, so I'd have to go American Eagle or
I loved
Navy.
American Eagle.
no, but you know what? It wasn't the same.
No, it was not. Oh no. Here's the store that I spent any money I had. I spent on. It was Aeropostale.
Aeropostale was cheap too. You could,
Interesting.
yeah.
I had
1987 shirts.
I had an insane amount of Aeropostale, like an embarrassing amount, and I would wear multiple shirts on once. So I'd wear like a t-shirt and then a button down.
Yeah.
With
You
a
could
long
layer
sleeve
it.
over it.
Yes.
And then like sometimes then a t-shirt over that. So it would be like the shirt coming out with the collar here, but with the t-shirt over it all.
Wow.
Nuts.
That's a crazy look.
I didn't know what I was doing, and it was always bad. And then on top of that, I would be using Got to Be Glued hair gel, and my hair would be like sticked up. So like I didn't appeal to anyone.
Did you wear cologne?
Yes, it was
What
3
did you rock?
colognes. I had 3 colognes in my
Of
life.
course, you have multiple colognes. When I was a kid, I had multiple colognes. One was every day, and one was special occasion cologne.
Okay, I almost never used them because I would use there was 3 that I would use.
Okay.
It was Polo Sport,
Yes, the blue bottle.
CK1,
Oh, never used that.
Michael Jordan cologne.
Yes, I haven't heard about the Michael Jordan cologne in years.
Michael
I got
Jordan
that for
cologne
Christmas
was
one year.
gigantic. It was, and I
Yes.
had it for so long. In fact, I actually still have. There was one that I got from a friend that was, I think it was Abercrombie Woods, and a friend gave it to me, or Curve maybe. No, it was Woods. It was Woods.
I used Abercrombie Fierce. That's what I would
Fierce.
use.
I remember that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
or I would use Cool Water.
Yes, Cool Water. Oh my God.
Cool
yeah, that was
Water.
big.
Every car smelled like Cool Water. If they smoked weed, you would just spray Cool Water all over the car, and that's how you protected yourself from your parents.
You're right. And do you remember the one that like every girl in Staten Island would wear?
What was it?
It was Love Spell.
No, I don't remember, but I'm sure if I remember,
You smelled it.
Oh
If you
yeah,
smelled it, you
yeah,
go.
yeah. It was
Let me
Victoria's
see
Secret.
the bottle. Is it a pink bottle?
I think it had
No.
like dots on
You
it.
would know this.
Like
you would
white
know the
dots.
smell.
You would know this. I wish I could send you the smell right now.
I know.
Ah, fuck. I
And they
hated
say
it.
smell like is the thing. I guess the sense that brings back the most memory. And when you
It's the
smell,
windows
you'll
to the
like,
soul.
Yeah, I've smelled this out in public,
No,
and I just get
you
brought
can't
back
do
to
that.
what?
Eyes are the window to the soul.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Casey's trolling you.
Your nose is like the nose is like the basement to the soul. Then
Yeah, it's a cellar doors to the
Yeah.
heart.
it's a leak.
But I don't even. I remember this but I remember the smell
Oh.
distinctly.
Yeah, I could taste it. Like like I see that.
I just get brought back to the first girl I made out was basement.
Yeah.
Looking back, look at the time, I always felt like I didn't do very well. But looking back, like I did okay. Not bragging, but like you know what I mean, like better
we
than.
can flex.
In my head, I was like, I was like, I'm never going. This is never going to work out for me. But looking back, it's like it was fine. It all worked out. You know,
mean you did some basement sessions?
it's some basement stuff.
Basement stuff.
Yeah,
I had so much sex in cars in high school.
yeah, it's a lot of car stuff.
It was a lot of car stuff, and I didn't have a car.
What streets? What were your streets?
You know
What were your
what?
streets?
You know what's funny? Well, there was a dead end right up of my block, so we would go park right at that dead end.
Yeah.
So that was like my spot.
Nothing better, honestly, bro. Nothing better than historic Richmond Town.
Oh, nothing. That's a good spot because cops aren't rolling through historic Richmond Town.
And it's all dead ends, and it's like weird parking lots and like old houses that now it's actually popping. It wouldn't work, but back then, historic Richmond Town. Something I always wanted to do was like do it at like Farrell, because this is not the case anymore either. But when I was in high school, the doors were always unlocked. There was always like at least 3 entranceways that were completely unlocked at Farrell that you could just walk around on a weekend. No kids would ever do it because we just assumed there'd be cameras. There was definitely no technology for that. But
Sure.
back then, like you would be able to just like, I remember like, because I would do the plays in high school.
Okay.
And so I would stay around all day, like, because I also got detention for being a chatty Cathy. So I'd be at school all day, then I'd have detention, and then there'd be like 4 hours until play practice. And I'm like, not going to get on a bus, go home, to get back on a bus, to go back out, to go back on a bus, to go home after it. So I was like, I'll just stay at school with my friends and just like fuck around.
Yeah.
Or go walk to the Boston market or go to like,
Oh
you
my
know.
God. Yes, you were right by that, and you were right by the train station over there. Oh,
Yeah.
what stop was that?
Oakwood.
Oakwood's train station, of course.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I would hook up a lot. There was a lot of making out in the stairwells in tech because there
Beautiful.
was stairwells that went to nowhere. It would just it was just stairs, and then it would end. So it was still texting time. So we would text someone, be like, "You want to grab the pass?" And then we both grab the pass, and then
Wait, you had texting?
Yeah, I had texting. I'm a little bit younger than you, Casey.
How old?
I'm 31.
Okay, but that's crazy. So yeah, I guess you're right, because when I got into college, which would be I'm 35, so the difference there would be when I was like a freshman or sophomore in college, I had texting. So that's wow. It's amazing how that it could change things so much.
Yeah, I got my first cell phone, I think days after 9/11. That's when I got my first cell phone.
That makes sense though. Your family's like, well, you got to get this. Did you have a beeper?
No, I did not. I wish. You know what? You had a beeper
too. I broke a beeper. I got a new beeper. That was the only thing that I don't know how I convinced my cheap dad to let me have a beeper.
Especially because beepers were associated with drug dealers.
But my mom had a beeper because she was a doctor.
Okay, so then it meant something else then.
I don't know why, because And also, it never really worked because it would be the way it would work would be somebody like, somebody would beep me and
Mhm.
then I would have to find a payphone and call them. It worked. I would say the amount of people who even cared to call me was very small. So it would be like, I think I convinced them I was like, because I like to go to I tell my dad, like, what if I'm at the mall and you got to get in touch with me? I should have a beeper.
That's a good reason.
And I remember being like, it was $99, 99 cents a month or something.
Great.
So I think I was like, I'll pay for that. Yeah. Maybe it was an easier sell than I thought, but it was, and then what your beeper looks like, you switch out the cases,
You
fashion
wore it.
thing too.
Yes.
But again, see now I'm all over the place. Gelled hair, Aeropostale, a
Yes.
beeper, khaki Jenkos,
No.
Adidas 4 stripes.
Yeah.
I'm painting you a picture and it's not looking good.
It's a mess. It's a hodgepodge of a personality.
Yeah.
See,
I
what
feel like
I
you do
always
learn
wanted.
this stuff at school though. Like you would go to school, see what people are wearing, you kind of get the vibe of like how to
And I didn't have
assemble
that.
things, and you didn't have. You
Because
knew
the
certain
only
things,
thing
but yeah.
The only thing I had was like, so in the summer, like I said, I would go to that swim club and I had, friends from all over. But you're wearing like shorts or a bathing suit and a t-shirt. Like that's not actually like truly summer. There's no fashion. Like there's like, it's like
No.
the dressing up is like, you're still wearing shorts, but you have a polo shirt on.
Yes.
So I
100%.
missed out on any winter, which is like actually where you wear nice clothes.
Yeah.
Sweaters, like, like what are those, the big sweaters that are the polo sweaters with the bear?
Yeah, I have those. I still rock those.
Yeah, those are
Casey.
great.
I still have
Those are great.
I'm there's something about me that polo like stuck into my jeans. Like there was there's a song, it's like fuck it's something like I rock polo, fuck Hilfiger, or something like that. I forget what the words were exactly that I heard, and I go, great, that's my personality. I'm a polo guy. I don't like Tommy Hilfiger.
I love that stuff too. Like I really did like polo and Nautica and like the way it looked and Hilfiger.
Mhm.
I was at a restaurant the other day. Like it was outside and it was safe and it was in a little pod. So
I
don't judge me.
saw your post. It was very safe. It looked safe.
What was it? I put a post.
Yeah, you did a post of you and Lisa eating dinner outside.
I don't remember.
Casey,
But
I'm covering your ass, bro. I
you.
I
He's
don't
just
even
making
remember
it
the
up.
post.
He's just
Okay,
kidding.
I'm just covering your ass here.
couldn't
Never
tell. I
mind, I
was like,
didn't see
wait,
it.
what?
I didn't see it. He was-
I was like, did my mom's nurses send you a photo?
They're all talking. I went to Cigar and Bagels, and everybody's talking.
No, people in Staten Island are like, we should eat indoors.
Yeah.
No, are you kidding me?
But the guy who was like the host at the place was wearing like a classic Nautica reversible, like one of those like thicker windbreakers though. It's like basically, and I was like, I love that. And he's like, I've been buying a bunch of old Nautica like on eBay. Wow. And I'm like, wow, that's gonna come back again. All that stuff is.
I'm so excited that all this stuff when I was like a kid is gonna come back.
Like Carl Kanai is gonna come back. Because it's a lot of the stuff like Anichi, like or NYC, a lot of it, like they didn't make that much. So anytime there's something like that, it's more valuable because it's like lower quality, lower quantity.
Yes. So then it's going to be like super expensive, like LRG or something like that and stuff.
Yeah.
Like brands like that. Yeah. Wow. I threw so much. My mom threw everything out.
Yeah. I didn't have a lot, but I actually have some I have this one. It was Nautica Sport, which is so funny that Nautica was like, well, there's Polo Sport, so let's do Nautica Sport.
They were the Burger King model to Polo.
And it had a blue collar, but it was all black, but with a royal blue collar. And on the side, it said Nautica Sport. On the whole arm, it said Nautica Sport. And it had, I think, like an 86 here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my favorite shirt. And I like every single time like one girl in my class would like have a party at her house, I would wear it because I thought it looked so cool. And then like the fourth time she was like, you wear that shirt every time you come here.
She calls you that.
And I was like, never wore it again. It's still in my closet because I'm like, there's probably another house I could wear it to.
You know what? I heard she's going to have a reunion party and you have to pull it out for that one last party at her house.
That's so funny. I mean, the drama of school. I'm going to tell you guys something. So I had one of one of my testicles detached and started moving up my body.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. We have taken a turn on this pod.
So I needed it to be taken out of my abdomen and not my below my stomach and put back and attached like a testicle torsion.
Oh
but at the
my
time I
God.
was like, that's so complicated to handle as a kid and also tell other kids in
How
school.
old?
7th grade.
Yeah, that's hard.
Oh, that's
So
worse.
that's
I
tough.
for that.
I was like, my mom, I was like, told my parents basically, I was like, I can't tell kids this. And they were like, just say you had a hernia, which I eventually got like when I was 30. So it was funny. It was a prophecy. But this happened. So I remember like 2 days before the surgery, I like went to a party and I got like hit in my abdomen and like hit. And it was like, it felt really weird. And then I remember like I got a lot of attention for it because I was like, oh, and they were like, he has surgery soon. And like, they were like whoever, like whatever kid it was like, Victor, you hit him. He has surgery. And I was like, I love this attention. I love, you know what I mean? I was like really milking the thing.
Of course. And
I,
meanwhile,
I sat in a corner for like an hour so that like, you know, everyone would be like, are you okay? And I was perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. But I loved it.
wow. Yeah, those parties were weird. Like those basement parties at like the rich kid's house.
That's
You
what it
know?
was. It's exactly what it was.
And they would buy all the snacks. I remember we would do like Twizzler fights and shit like that in the basement, and until it just turned out to like what two people are gonna kiss, and then everyone will just freak out and no one else will kiss.
It was so great though.
It was
When they would kiss.
Oh, I loved watching. I don't think people remember the joy of seeing your friends kiss a person.
I remember it feeling like this is crazy. It was like, how are they going to talk ever again?
I know. I remember once two people kissed and I was freaking out about it during a test because they were in the same room. I'm like, how are they focusing on the test? Because I'm thinking about them kissing.
I know. Yeah. I remember it being like Victor and Christina went with each other. And then it was like, but Victor said he might not want to do it again. Like they're breaking up.
So much
It
drama.
was like so heavy.
I would ask girls to wear my chain or my watch.
Wow.
That
That's
was
like old school, like wear my pin.
Yes, and they would. And I remember one time this girl broke up with me and she threw the chain across the lunchroom.
Ugh, beautiful.
The fuck that. I got that from confirmation. It had a Jesus on it. You know what I mean? That was my confirmation chain. She threw across the lunchroom because she didn't want to, keep dating me. That was rude.
There's a funny thing that I've been meaning to ask my dad because there was a high school girlfriend I had for a long time. I gave her my ring, my Farrell ring.
Okay.
That I got my senior year. And I never got it back. And then a couple of years ago, I was like at my parents' house. And I remember my dad being like, you got to get that ring back. It's like your high school ring.
Yeah.
I remember a couple of years ago, I looked and I was at my parents' house and I looked in a drawer and it was there. And I was like, what? So my dad probably like went to this girl's house and was like, probably talked to her dad to be like, oh, I need the ring back. And I'm like mortified to find out if that's the case, because I know 100% that's the case.
Oh God. That's so fun. It was probably very polite and very like,
100%. And I bet you like her dad was like, yeah, I'll take care of it. Like, I understand, but like, I don't want to know if that's the answer.
That's what happened.
Ugh.
That's what happened.
Like imagine showing up. Oh
no, I one time had to do that for my sister, but I did it in a much more like some dude had her yearbook or something, and she told me she goes, this guy Jeremy, he's having a house party and he still has my yearbook. Can you and your friends go by? And I remember walking through with me and my boys. I know that you always make fun of me when I say my boys, Casey. You can't get over that term, my boys.
Well, I think it's funny that you use it like currently, like you're 31 and you're like me and my boys.
Yeah,
that's what I love. It's if you're talking in the past tense, it's fine. Like me and my boys went, and you're like, yep, you still had boys then.
Yeah, I know. I don't have boys. I have people that I'll chit chat and maybe enjoy an IPA with. I don't have boys anymore.
Yeah, like sometimes you'll be like, I went to the post office and I talked to my boys, and you're like, no, they just work there. There's some men that work there that you're calling your boys.
This is 100% what I do. So me and my boys roll through the party, and I remember going up to the kid being like, yo, bro, you got my sister's yearbook? And he goes, yeah, give me a second. And he goes, it's in my room. I go, I'll follow you. And me and all my boys followed him to his childhood bedroom. He gave me the yearbook. I go, never fuck with my sister again. And I walked out and I felt so tough. So maybe your dad pulled that shit at her house too.
Oh yeah, definitely. My dad definitely did that. Probably the guy was having a party at his house. He rolled up with his boys, Mitch and Steve. Rolled up.
Wow. Okay, one final. We were going to talk about music, Casey, but I'm so sorry.
I'm way more passionate about Staten Island.
I'm so. No one else. Who else am I going to talk to about this?
I love this.
Anyone else that I could talk to about Staten Island with? We couldn't release the podcast because they are people that don't know how to control their behavior. You know?
Yeah, it would just be you'd get in a lot of trouble, like incriminating.
Yes, 100%. And I feel so blessed that I'm not friends with them anymore. God bless. But
I can't get over the white tongue, like the white line on the tongue. I remember that, and I haven't thought about it. It's brilliant. Thank you for remembering that.
I can't. I don't. No one else knows that either.
Yeah, I never heard that. I'm also a little younger, but I never heard it before.
I can't. I'm on a chat with a bunch of friends.
And you're going to talk about it.
I'm going to tell them to listen to this and not spoil it. But if they don't, which they probably won't, I'm going to tell them.
Yes, you have to, because I think that's such a specific Staten Island's thing to have the white line under your tongue, and everyone would be checking, and I would just stare in the mirror looking for
So
it.
people would lie and be like, my boy has the white, like they would cover for each other, I guess. And see white lines that don't exist.
This was the Santa Claus of making out.
Yeah,
I saw him, bro. I saw him. I mean, he's gone with like 4 girls. He's not a prude.
Yeah, he's not a prude.
Like, I don't care if the white line's there or not. He's not a prude.
If someone was to come to Staten Island, where are you going to send them to eat?
Oh, great question. So I've done this multiple times. There's sometimes people are like, what's the best pizza? Like they specifically want that.
Okay.
And my ranking is Danino's is number 1.
Okay.
And then I go Lee's Tavern or Joe and Pat's.
Oh yeah, Joe and Pat's got to be up there.
Yeah. I sometimes like Joe and Pat's more than Lee's because Lee's you have to eat an entire pie to like enjoy it.
We don't have time for that all the time.
Yeah, it's because it's like a kind of a small cracker crust. It's great. It's incredible, but it's like a bar pie.
Yeah.
Danino's is fantastic. I could talk about Danino's. They semolina flour. It's like they use a good amount of oil, so it's almost like the bottom is like fried, like almost like fried dough, but it still can bend like you want a pizza to. Especially just like their plain slice, but everything. Their garbage pie is good.
That's the judge. For me, it's always how's the plane.
Agreed.
Anyone else is like, you got to go there and get the buffalo chicken. I go, that's not a pizza slice.
I know. Especially a buffalo chicken. I like there's weird specialty ones. There's the MOR at Danino's, which is meatball, onion, and ricotta.
Oof. I love that.
Really good. I really like a white pie.
Me too. I love regattes. I love a white pie. When I was a kid, we would get a white pie and we would take my grandmother's meatballs and we would cut them up and put them on the pizza.
Wow, white pie with meatballs is nice.
Or we do white pie broccoli rabe.
Yes, yeah. Having a little green, like a broccoli or spinach or something on a white pie. It's classic.
If you were on a diet, you added
it's really healthy. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's so healthy. It's crazy.
Exactly.
If you're on a diet, you just eat pizza
spinach.
and then add vegetables on top of it.
But growing up, we had a place down the block called the Roadhouse, and they had a really great.
I know the Roadhouse.
Yeah. Oh, it's still there, but it switched like ownership or recipe, and the pizza, in my opinion, wasn't as good. But they had the thing that they did better than their pizza was they had an eggplant parmesan and a chicken parmesan sandwich. That was huge.
Yeah.
Those were so good.
Eggplant parm's a real good judge if the place is good.
Yeah.
Chicken parm, I feel like everyone could do okay, but like only great places could do an eggplant parm nice.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know what was a big Staten Island thing you don't see anymore? Mozzarella carosa, which was like like a big thing of mozzarella that was like covered in breading and fried.
Yes.
They don't. That was on every menu. That was what like calamari was, or what now is Brussels sprouts, like as an app. It was always like
Brussels. Where have we gone as a society? Now it's Brussels sprouts instead of just fried cheese.
Yeah, it was like fancy mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like a homemade mozzarella stick. Nailed it.
Oh.
But yeah, that was so now other big Italian restaurants though, like I really like it's actually closed, but Trattoria Romana was my number one.
That's closed?
They just closed. So there's talks that it might reopen, but
Yeah.
it's so funny. I grew up like going to that place, loving that place. It's like
Uh-huh.
really like Romanian Italian food. And it
Mhm.
was really good. And then we went as they were going to close the last month. We got like outdoor dining there. It was really great. Lisa, when my wife was like, I'm
Uh-huh.
going to go to the bathroom. She goes inside. Every single table's packed.
Oh.
Like wall to wall.
Of course.
She's like, it's like all like older people, like the entire place is packed. And she's
Of
like,
course.
felt even weird using the restroom. And then she told me, I was like, what? I was like, I guess they're just going out a bit, like they're like closing up and they were like, whatever. And a lot of people in Staten Island didn't care.
Fuck
And
it.
this was like peak. This was like July or something. It was like
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
But I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's just, to each his own.
And then at Ralph's, what flavor do you get?
Okay. So if are you going water ice or are you going
I'm
cream?
going water ice.
Okay,
Well,
cherry.
Cherry. Interesting.
Really like cherry. I don't mind what's the 3-color one?
The rainbow.
Rainbow. I like
Yeah.
a rainbow. But cherry to me was the one that I craved the most. If we're going cream ice, a vanilla chip.
Vanilla chip. That's that's the right answer there. I was a lemon boy or vanilla chip.
Vanilla chip was, I closed my eyes, I could taste it. That's my favorite. I mean, I loved pistachio. I loved spumoni because of the
Of course.
pistachio.
Yeah.
But vanilla chip is the one. The only other ice cream I like more than that is mint chip, which is just the same thing, but with mint ice cream instead of vanilla. But vanilla chip.
Yeah, I like vanilla. My high school girlfriend worked at Ralph, so that's how you know she was cool. That's how you know. I hate to flex, but me and my boys would roll through and she'd be working at Ralph's. I look so cool. I put a 40 in my leg. I tuck my jeans into my Timbs and to put a 40 in my leg and waddle up and order fucking lemon ice from the girl that gave me a hand job 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God. I can't believe how many 40s I've had in my life. And it's because of Staten Island. I remember like I went to Rider University in Jersey, and like I feel like I single-handedly like brought 40s to the mainstream of Rider. Everyone was like, "These are genius. You have so much beer, and it's just in one thing. It gets a little warm at the end, but otherwise, it's great."
Well, that's why you drank them fast.
There were kids that in college, I worked at a different swim club and I did grounds crew, like cutting grass and stuff like that, and like picking up garbages at the swim club. And I was in charge because I had done that at Snug Harbor beforehand, and they trust me to like be in charge. And I was in charge of a bunch of Peter's kids, and they were younger than me, so they did what I said. But if we were the same age, they would abuse me, bro. I was like such a herb compared to them. And they
such a herb.
I was a college kid that drank constantly, probably like unchaperoned, and they could drink me under the table. They would start with a 40 and then do a 6-pack. And that's like, if they were just like that's like an easy night
hanging out.
They would usually do 240. Like sometimes they would do 240s in a 6-pack. And they'd be like, bro, why are you dipping into my 6? They were like so obsessed with like how much they had and like, don't take mine.
So cheap. Everyone was so cheap with the beer. And that's why the 40s were good, because I bought 2 40s.
Yes. And
if you were really cool, you got Old E.
Of course. I mean, if you I kind of remember everyone got Old E.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, there was also Steel Reserve. That was the one that I think was like nice.
That was even more alcohol than OE.
Yes.
Colt 45, you're trying too hard, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's like the cliche.
Yes, it's the cliche.
I remember someone was like, the first time someone was like, go and get Old E. I had a fake ID. It wasn't my brother's because I think it was before he was even 21, which is funny.
Yeah.
So I had this weird one with a guy who had a hat on it. Don't remember his name. Probably remember his birthday. And it would always work. I don't know why it would always work. And this is me, Jenko's and an Aeropostale t-shirt. Probably thought I was a college kid or something.
7 t-shirts he's wearing to the store.
I remember a kid being like, get me an Old E. And I spent like 15 minutes and couldn't find Old E. And then I went back out and he was like, Old English. Like Old English. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh no, that's embarrassing moment.
Yeah.
Wow. Casey, this was, honestly, I couldn't have done this with anyone else.
Delightful. I mean, I had to pee for like 45 minutes, but I was having too much fun.
Please, Casey, thank you so much for doing this. This is so beautiful.
Beautiful.
This is our Staten Island episode. This is phenomenal.
Love
Casey,
it.
is there anything you want to plug?
No.
No, I love this.
Go to Marie's Gourmet on Staten Island. I used to work there. I know the owner Mario, and I love him.
Yes, I love this. I love that. Robbie?
Nothing. Just keep listening to the podcast.
Keep
That's
listening
it.
to the podcast. Rate, review 5 stars. We love all our hotties out there. Robbie, hit the fucking music.